TikTok.
Oh, probably.
Who cares?
Who cares? Hey, it's Larry Locken. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the cosmos. Hey, good Saturday morning or Friday night, if it's still Friday night for you. I think it is for me. Yes, it is by just about a half hour. I am Larry Locken on the Oregon coast. I am joined with Shandy&Larry. She is my co-owner of the Facebook page, Pleiadian and Angelic Rainbow Orbs. And we're just going to free flow chat about some energies. We might touch on Atlas. Who knows? We might touch on an African jungle or a big city street. Who knows? But Shandy&Larry, all the way in Iowa, where you know as well as I know where enlightenment goes to be all it could ever be. The great state of Iowa. Yay!
I love how you describe Iowa.
Wasn't it wonderful?
It's great, and it makes it seem like such an amazing place.
Well, it is. It is such an amazing, enlightening place. Well, you're from there, right? You're from there. It must be really enlightening.
I'm born and raised till I was 16, and I moved to Southern California. But yep.
Yeah. Well, thank God for that, huh?
I'm a corn-fed Midwest girl.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I didn't grow up on a farm, but I'm definitely that type of. I'd rather be a small town girl than a big city bitch.
You're an old cowhand from the Rio Grande. What can we say? Well, or somewhere along that way.
My soul longs for the ocean.
So, what do you think about the Hunter's Moon? We've had the Dracoid meteor shower. We've had a lot of shit going on. We've got the 11/11 coming up.
Well, the 10/10 was just an hour ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's still the 10/10 for me for another half hour out here on the left coast.
There was just that full moon, and then there's going to be another one on the 21st. It'll be the new moon, and the sun's going to go into Scorpio at midnight exactly.
Okay.
And that's when the Orionid meteor showers are going to be like.
Oh, boy, we just got reptilians all the way around.
11,000 feet in the air at that time in Colorado.
Yeah, reptilians. We've got the Dracoids. Now we've got Orion coming up, but then we've got the 11/11 coming. So that's something to take to heart. So, what do you think about all the talk about Atlas? I mean, we were talking about it in the pre-show. What is your thing on Atlas?
All right, children of the corn. Here we go. I believe that it is a bunch of the masters, a bunch of the they're passing through, they're passing over, they're observing, they're gathering data, they're seeing, they're weeding out the real from the fake, from the wannabes from the muggles, and they are realizing that people are trying to channel them so much that they're just feeding them with a bunch of crap because we're comedians and it's fun and it's kind of, I don't know, it's like to mess with the ones that are real and the ones that aren't, because the real ones would not blast the information on the interwebs. Basically, they would. I think the real ones that channel them, if they really came through, they would keep that a secret because it's nobody's fucking business.
Well, depending on what the information is that they're handing out, of course. But then, of course, you got to look at. I mean,
if you're channeling it and it's negative, fear-based information, then obviously that's a reflection of that's a you problem.
Yeah,
like you need to fine-tune your channeling skills because our people do not give negative information.
They don't put it that way, right? If they have something to alert you about it.
Way. Right. There's no warnings or we must heed this, you must watch out. No, there's no warnings like that because we don't vibe on the negative realm.
Absolutely.
But there's a lot of people that are scared and they're like, oh, it's coming to get us and da-da-da-da-da. Like, okay, don't you think I already would have done that?
Yeah.
Like nobody's coming to save you, dude. There's no arrival. Everybody's been here like this. We're fine. Like you save yourself. It's like, I don't know, maybe it's the Jesus ship and it's fucking Jeebus.
Well, you'll hear that too.
No, I'm just playing. Jeebus never left, but like, I don't know. It could be what it is, and I don't think anybody's ever going to really know because it's going to disappear quicker than they think.
Well, until December 19th, supposedly in our realm, that is where, Earth-based technology can spot it from. It will be in our visibility until the December 19th. Till December 19th, so it'll be a hot topic between now and then that people will be talking about. Of course, I heard one lady last night on TikTok saying that they're here to take all the star seeds. They're here to.
Where are we going?
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty drastic, right? Because there's 12, 20 million that I.
Aren't we supposed to be on Earth to help humanity? Why would they take us away?
Yeah, and why would it be let happen, right? And that would be a pretty drastic thing. That would be like the biggest thing to ever happen.
Where are we going to go? To the damn Garden of Eden where we can frolic around naked?
Yeah. So I don't really subscribe to that theory either, right? And one guy had remote viewed it and said that it was reptilian scientists here to experiment on starseeds a little bit, you know.
They're already dismantling the reptilians that are already here. They're not going to allow any more in our realm. They can try, but right. I don't think they can. It's just a new thing that, you know, the scientists have never seen. And so there, you know, there's all kinds of hearsay about this and that because we're so incognito and we're cloaked and nobody's going to know the true because it's not for anybody to know. It's for them people or our people up there to observe and fucking, you know, all right, let's see if Earth is ready yet. God damn it. No, they're not. Let's pass on by again. And then what? I mean, like, there's this whole like disclosure, and the aliens will show themselves, and this and that, and then what? Like, dude, people don't understand. It's already like, look at me. I'm a hybrid. I want to see an alien. Well, I'm right here, bud. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, they're already
We're not
here
and looking like Martians. We can shapeshift into humans. Hello.
Yeah, they're phasing more into our reality too. As more and more, you know, people awaken and are okay with that scenario, the more that they're going to phase into our reality. But for those of us who already see them and those of us who already communicate with them, they're already here. I mean, what is it going to take? Do they need to move in next door? I mean,
acceptance and being widespread as far as like it's part of the Great Awakening. It's part of the Grand Master Plan. It's just little pieces of the Grand Master Plan, and we're not in control. We don't pull the strings. You know, the masters do that. So they're up in the moon and Andromeda and the mothership.
Well, they're definitely around the moon for sure. Yeah, they're definitely all around the moon. They're very easy to spot. But
we don't have what is it, clearance to go hang out with them guys, just like we don't have clearance to hang out in the Oval Office.
Yeah, exactly. But as they phase more into reality, you talk about this mass landing, right? Okay, a mass landing would happen when it was already just about known by everybody that could possibly see them anyway. So it wouldn't be anything really it'd be kind of anticlimactic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the hybridization shit happened long times ago, back when caveman days happened. It's been happening since then, like integrating little by little every fucking new soul that's born. That's another one and another one. It's not like they're going to beam down and we got ET over here.
Yeah, but fear stories, though, make for excitement. People get drawn to fear stories and trying to use their earth mind to dissect the rest of it. They may have a little bit of info, and then they'll try to use their earth mind to tie the rest of the information together, right? They do that a lot. So they like to hear somebody will lead them on.
Based on whatever images they've seen in books or movies or whatever, and they just think that that's the truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't they know movies are fake?
Like, duh. Yeah, they don't. They obviously don't comprehend that. But there's a fantasy aspect to it, right? There's a fantasy aspect to this. People want to imagine something and miss the true picture. That makes sense.
They just think that this flying saucer is going to come and beam down this light and beam me up, Scotty. And then next thing you know, they're going to take you away and you're going to die, or they're going to, I don't know. Why
do you think it is that people have such an initial reaction to go to the fear?
Because people fear what they don't understand.
That's true.
Same with witchcraft, same with magic. They fear what they don't understand. If you learn the history and you learn the actual true balance of karma, you will realize it's not as scary as people portray it to be. Well, why do you think they say witches eat children? To keep your fucking kids out of my house, bitch.
Well, the thing about it is with magic, right? With true magic, you're either really seeing one or two things. If you see true magic, you're looking at a technology from a civilization you don't understand yet, like seeing a cell phone in the 1950s, or you're looking at an ascended race even higher than that has mastered telepathy and mastered telekinesis, mastered levitation,
and a lot
things of that nature.
Like with me, because I'm a medium and I channel the dead and things like that. And like I'm a prophet, modern day prophet, whatever. And like, the old Piscean age people that have that anal Christian view, they think that, I'm channeling the demons. It has to be the demons. Like, why does it have to be the demons? I know, why can't there be modern day prophets? Why do they only have to be back in those days, you fucking anal ass weirdos?
Yeah, that's what gets me about people who really are hardcore, like into the Bible like that, is why would they think that magic stuff like that only happened then? And if it only happened then, why isn't it happening now? And but yet it's so hard for them to believe in anything paranormal at the same time. So it's this big walking contradiction.
But they believe that Jesus was the magic man. He cured this and he did that. He's the only one in the world that can do that.
I know.
If you believe that he can, then why can't anybody else?
Yeah, how can people look up to something outside of themselves like that? I mean, it's everything you have is within you. How can you look at another soul like there's
Well,
something great, but
I
they're
have
not?
a diploma to teach theology and metaphysics and spirituality. And if you know the history of Christianity before everything, you got to know your history. 90% of Christians don't know the history. They're just programmed. And if you know the history and the stories of the radical Catholics and this and that and the third, then maybe you might change your mind about what's really going on and about what Jesus really wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys don't even know. That's a whole nother thing.
And usually the people that don't know, they have a Christian household. A lot of people, a couple of them that I know that are really awakened, they grew up in a really strong Christian home, or what you call a strong Christian home, and they still have a hard time getting rid of that dogma.
Because they're of the Piscean age.
They have a hard time getting rid of that dogma of that shit programmed into their mind, of having pictures on their wall.
Think about when you're in church back in the day, white people churches, the songs that you sing are only 20 words long, but they're 10 minutes long because they're programming.
That's a good point. That makes a lot of sense.
And when the radical Catholics came and took over, they took out all of the parts of the Bible that allowed you to find God within yourself.
Oh,
and they took all the magic out of it and used it for their negative, bad shit. Like, really? I'm a pagan and I still don't sacrifice the blood and the flesh of Jesus. That's some dark pagan weird shit, you guys. Don't you get that? Catholics, like, don't you get that?
They took out all the mention of reincarnation as well, you know, and like
everything magic to find everything magic to find magic and power within yourself was taken out so they could use it negatively, so they can create the spiritual fucking mafia. Yeah.
And I mean, let's face it, that text is pretty goddamn old. Things get lost in translation and changing it to different languages.
Oh, for sure.
You know, the here as, whereby, therefore, there, out, are, out.
When you studied all the religions like I have, because I'm fascinated by it, you know, being a starseed, and it comes from the light and dark, and they're all demigods and pretty much all the same sayings. Like, I don't care who you pray to or what your religion is, as long as you're not a fucking asshole or you don't use the religion to make excuses or whatever, then go do what you got to do, man. I don't care who you pray to. I don't care. Whatever. It's no big deal to me, but it's just crazy how I talk to certain people and it's like, you can't fucking talk to Sister Montgomery about Egyptians and reincarnation.
No, they're programmed. They're stuck in a belief system. When you get stuck in a belief system, it's hard to get out of that. It's just like that with the I am is like that too. If you get stuck on one thing.
The Piscean age, we're in the Aquarian age now. The Piscean age are all them folks that are like 60, 70 that are about to die anyway. They're the ones that are stuck. The old folks are stuck in their ways of being, and then you know, not many new age young kids are all about that. Like, it's more the old folks that are just
they're beyond it. They don't give a fuck. They're such old souls, like really not for Earth, but for other galaxies. That
Javis was the only way. Why wouldn't you want more than one? Why wouldn't you want all the gods and goddesses at your side to fight for you?
And they always say he's coming back. Well, the consciousness never left. But they
Jeebus, at the crucifixion, Jeebus bounced out with Mary. Ricky Bobby, now you see me, now you don't. And he went and created all the other religions to the east because he said, I ain't getting nowhere here. Fuck it.
Well, they put it as a fear tactic. Like, you better be careful.
For sure.
Jesus is coming back. Okay, so what? I better turn off the lights, turn off the TV. Big Daddy's coming home. If you're still awake, you're going to get 5 lashes. I mean, what? Grady's coming back.
But it's just a fear-based spiritual mafia for them to fund their own agenda.
When people come into the page now with something like that Jesus is coming or coming back, I'm like, what? When are you going on your comedy tour next? When is that?
My aunt said, I've been hearing that since the fucking 60s.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know,
but way before that. You know, he never left. The Christ consciousness, the light is within you. That's what he wanted you to believe back in the day, too. Jesus was like the ultimate homeboy. Like, he was like, everybody, be like me. Come on, find the light within yourself. And they're like, oh, no. And like, he loved his redheaded whores, tell you what.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, people would use this as a fear story, a fear tactic to get people to go on the straight and narrow. First of all, even if that was going to work, which it's not, why would you? It's so old and played out. I mean, find some new material, man. Get some new material, really, in a hurry.
I'm not giving you 15% of my check so Pastor John can pay for his fucking Cadillac.
Oh yeah, no.
Or I'm not tithing anything. I'm not giving you money, church, so you guys can pay your electric bill and keep your church going.
Yeah, right.
Where? Jeebus, where's it going to go? You know what I mean? Like, come on now. It's just to fund your church because y'all are broke.
Well, yeah.
And you use that. And people do that. Like the Black Baptist church here that my kids are baptized at, they're the richest church in town. And they're like $100 bills, y'all, $100 bills, y'all. And Pastor Red, he got himself a nice ass house, nice ass car. But I mean, they help us when we need it. But goddamn, calm down. There's Medea, them old ladies and them old sisters, and Brother Minks and Brother Montgomery and all them. I love them, but they're fucking stupid.
Well,
give me that money. I need it more to feed my kids than Pastor John needs it to fucking go down to the casino later tonight.
Yeah. That's funny. Plus, they don't pay taxes. Okay, there's that. And I'm not saying that they go ahead and start taxing churches, but some of these big conglomerate ones that you see, like Joel Osteen and John Hagee and all those crazy motherfuckers like that. All those crazy motherfuckers like those guys. And
what is it? Robert Schuller, the Crystal Cathedral in Garden Grove, California. I lived 2 blocks from there, and I used to smoke doobies in the fucking garden. I used to walk over there and smoke weed in the garden. What are you gonna do?
Is he on TV? I know there's this one guy, Benny Hinn, who glues stars to his forehead. I don't know what's up with that, but he has stars glued to his forehead. When he talks sometimes.
Them mega churches and all them, they're all demonic as fuck. They're all terrible.
Yeah,
terrible. I don't do organized religion. I don't like somebody coming up there telling me what it's just based on the book. It's just a book that you read. There's a million trillion books you can fucking read. Like all the Bibles of all of the religions, even the fucking Luciferian one and all of them, they're all the same. They're all the same.
The Quran, right? The Quran. And at least the Quran talks about reincarnation a little bit and talks about flying vimanas. The Bible makes sure that it doesn't. The biggest religion in the world, Catholicism, like Catholics, and like, no, dude, you guys are literally eating flesh and drinking blood every week, and you talk shit about me doing a tarot card reading, my guy? Yeah.
I'm pagan, and I don't do that. That's the bad pagans. That's the ones that, like, sacrifice blood, and dude, we don't even do that. Like, I don't even do that in my witchcraft, fuck.
Yeah, I know. It's the stereotypes get thrown around.
They keep it alive so the sacrament keeps going, because they're evil as fuck. And then they use them priests that get in trouble for, like, molesting little kids. Yeah. I was succumbed by the flesh.
Well, Jimmy Swaggart, man.
For an excuse, my guy?
Yeah. Jimmy Swaggart, I remember him getting on TV in the 1980s. He was sorry, he sinned, he was with a prostitute. He made sure the whole thing was staged, though, and the lighting was right, and he, his wife was there, and he was apologizing to her and all that. And Ozzy wrote a song, I think, about him called Miracle Man.
Us. We can go be hoes all week. They'll forgive us if we go to church and ask for forgiveness. Doesn't God know your heart? Isn't that the basis of your fucking religion, you weird-ass Christian?
Well, that's their thing, man. I mean, I'm not really here to trash them, but I had a pastor tell me something really interesting one time.
Good Christian folks, but as long as they don't sit there and you know who to talk to and who not to. I'm not going to talk about magic to fucking Sister Montgomery.
You know what I found really strange one time? This pastor told me when it came to collections. It was just a regular little church here. You know what he told me? He said, well, we have to meet this certain goal here of this amount of money. But then he said to me, but if we don't meet it, we try to meet it. But if we don't meet it, we get all our bills paid by this particular church here. And it was some outlet church in the Midwest. And I thought that was weird. I had to ask him a couple times to make sure I understood that right. If they don't make their collection quota by the end of the month, they'll have all their bills paid for them by this church.
Right.
But if they do, I didn't quite understood that, and I kind of let it go at that. This was decades ago, and I just kind of thought, okay. Because I was doing a little bit of volunteer work for them. I was really going for social reasons why I was going at the time. I looked at some people I worked with there.
Yeah.
And I kind of got in with them, and I was asking, the pastor was just volunteered in private that information to me. We were talking, having coffee one day, and he started telling me that. And I thought, what the fuck? And I had to ask him I didn't want to seem rude or stupid, but I had to ask him like twice. Okay, so if you don't make your monthly amount, you're getting it paid for by some other
so that they can be a tax write-off or charity or whatever.
Yeah, I just found it kind of interesting.
It's a spiritual mafia, I'm telling you.
Well, I still to this day I'm not sure I understood the dude right, but I think I got him right when I asked him that. So I don't know about that.
As a tax write-off,
Right. But the thing is, you mentioned African American churches, but white churches are really. Or worse, they don't really, they put up this act like they like African American pastors. I know they did this survey in the mid-'80s with it ranking the top pastors in the country and their quality on all these different levels. Of course, Pat Robertson was on there, fucking Jimmy Swaggart, Billy Graham, Jim Baker was on there. But where do you think Jesse Jackson, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, was on the list? He wasn't even on the fucking list. But they had Swaggart
and black churches. and the pastor actually finally, after fucking 4 hours later, when he finally gets up there and starts channeling and starts preaching, I can feel it. I mean, I can feel the energy.
Yes.
And it, like it hits me in my soul, and I start crying, and it's overwhelming.
Absolutely.
White folks, dude, that's just when they're preaching, you know, and they get it, and I feel it, and they get it,
right.
they're getting it, and they're sweating because it's a lot, and it's real, and that's the only real thing. And like white churches to me are just stupid to me. They're just like, I don't know, I can't get down with white churches.
No, I feel like, the same way. I feel the same way about
Oregon,
it.
In Roseburg, there's a church though, a white church with the ones that have the prophetic word and shit like that. Those are pretty cool because then they can, you know, touch you and like get an intuitive reading, and they did that with my daughter and put their hands on her shoulder, and like they said, I see your Grandma D in a cornfield and da-da-da, and my daughter's like, I saw Grandma D, so it's like magic kind of.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, no, I'm not trying to listen. I'm not trying to hear Pastor John Smith talk about this and that and this and that, and I can't do it. And a lot of them are like, they're really all about like the churches here too in the small towns. Oh, you gotta wear, the girls have to wear long skirts, and it's like borderline Mormon shit.
Yeah, why? And some people are still, as adults, are traumatized by that kind of dogma. I mean, it's very misogynistic, very, very anti-woman. Oh, they should wear, you know, all this other bullshit. I mean, I know somebody who even won't.
Because when the radical Catholics came and changed it up, it went from a polytheistic religion to a monotheistic religion, and they did away with all the gods and all the goddesses, and it's just straight man. You got to man. All this, you know, like the pastor and the fucking cardinals, and you got to confess in this booth to this dude, and you blah blah blah, just for control.
It is, and it stays with you.
But that's okay that you have 5, 6, 7, 8 wives, and people are worshiping this prophet Johnny boy, you know, in Utah, that he's, you know, like it's the weak-minded, man. They prey on the weak, man, and there's a lot of weak-minded souls that just are dying to fit in, and they just want to belong somewhere.
But their reasoning will be that, it's okay for them. It's just how that is. It's how they were brought up. It's how they were. Fuck how they were. Fuck how you were brought up.
The God appointed them to be prophet, whoever, Muhammad, whoever he is out there, and and that, he's the one, and they like. Dude, it's so crazy. I'm like, how do people fall for that shit? I don't understand.
Well, when I was growing up, I would go stay over at a friend's house sometimes. I usually have him stay with me, but I'd go stay the night at his house. His parents were really religious, and everywhere you go was dogma on the wall. This verse, that psalm, this verse, this picture, that picture, and the praying before dinner thing, and it just the whole. I don't mind saying grace, but the whole thing was just really always creeped me out.
Yeah,
sleeping over there was a bitch.
I grew up, my mom sold weed. We lived in a party house, but my best friend on the way, her mom and dad were really old, and her mom was born on Christmas Eve, died on Christmas Eve, and we only went to church with her, and we only went to see the cute boys. But one time I remember my boyfriend was leaving me when I was 13, and she actually, did talked in tongue, like on my head, and like it sounded like a bunch of black girls' names, and then after that, like, it was just crazy that we just went to church just to go to church, and she never like pushed it down our throat, but she was very religious, and her funeral was on my birthday, but she was very religious in that sense, and like her daughter was a goody two shoes, and I was bad and everything, and it was just like, regardless, she took me to them churches, and I'm like, what the fuck is this dumb shit? Like, you just stand here. We got to sing this song over and over and over and over.
All day long, man. I mean, some of them go all day long. I mean, these people I'm talking about went to church where they went for Sunday school, or they went for something in the morning,
and then on Wednesdays, and then Saturdays, and then Sundays. Next thing you know, you're all up in the church doing shit for them because they're using you.
Yeah. Well,
and make you feel like you're part of them. They do that. They make you feel like you're part of them, but they're actually just using you.
Well, I was mowing a lawn the size of a football field for them a couple of times a month. I know. But I mean, I knew I was doing that. I was just doing that to be nice. I wasn't like thinking it was going to earn me a gold spot.
Right. We only went to the youth pastor's house to see the cute boys. What are you talking about? We went bowling just to see the cute boys,
Yeah, right.
And like at the end of the day, to be honest, at the end of the day, I've lived with a Buddhist family. I've known people of all different races and religions, and I don't care how you were brought up. You all have your own image of God in your head, and I don't care who you fucking pray to. I don't care what book you read, what dogma you read. As long as you're not a shitty fucking person, I don't care.
Well, the one I went to, too, I volunteered to be the substitute.
There's good and bad in all religions. There's good Christians, bad Christians, good Muslims, bad Muslims, good witches, bad witches.
This one I did. I couldn't believe the amount of sugar and snacks they gave the kids. Like
Dude,
3 or 4
and the
sodas
fact that
each.
you have to obey and worship, I do not worship anything.
Yeah,
I will not worship any god or goddess because we are all equal.
Yeah, they sent these kids home with like a big sugar high.
Oh, you must worship God or worship Jesus. Is that very egotistical right there, guys?
Very, very, but I couldn't believe the amount. Like, I would be watching these kids, we'd put in a film or I'd read something to them, and then this other senior pastor would come in every few minutes, it seemed like, with more soda, more chocolate, more, and I'm like, wow, man, and send them home with goodie bags.
It's like they're grooming them, or they're making them think that they're like the best ever.
Yeah.
They want to come back next week. I get more candy. I get more this. I get more juice. I get to color pictures. I get to paint. I get to have fun. I get to do this and that. And they like disguise it as like like going to the damn carnival.
That's what they did. That's exactly what they did. And I don't mind. I think it's cool to give them a snack and send them home maybe with something. But man, this was ridiculous.
Because they were enticing them and wanting them to come back.
Yeah, I mean, and they just ate it down. You know, the little kids gobbled it up.
Trickery and tomfoolery. It's terrible. So terrible. But yeah, nowadays it's 2025. Like, you go to church. If you don't, you don't. No big deal. Just don't talk to me about your religion, because make sure you need to learn your history, because I'll school some motherfuckers on some Christianity, and they won't know what's coming. They won't want to hear me. But you get me in your church, I'll be like, let's go history 101. All right.
Right.
You guys know the history? Do you know blah blah blah?
No.
Oh, who's Constantine? Oh, you don't know? Well, then maybe you need to take a Christianity history class before you start preaching your goddamn religion.
Well, there are some that are really schooled in the gospel, and they know what they're talking about. I can think of one now that just passed away.
And it don't matter though. Like, if you know every verse in every gospel in this, it's just one book.
Very low consciousness.
I can quote poetry books. That doesn't mean that I have to live by their words.
You're exactly.
You know, the word of God, the word of God, the word of God. Like, okay.
What about the word of you? The word of you, the word of you, the word of somebody else. Why? Who gives a fuck what? My
favorite chapter in the Bible is the Song of Solomon's, and it talks about, you know, the love that he has with his woman, and they're like, they're trying to talk about the love you have with God. I'm like, okay, but they're talking about supple breasts and things like that. I don't think so. Don't think so, guys.
America especially is bad like that. America especially bad like that because we're taught that sex is a bad thing, but then here's just these magazines you can hide and look at, you know.
And it's crazy. It's just like, okay, so you guys, whoever falls for it, they can fall for it. It's like basically time and a place. Can't talk to a kindergartner about fucking algebra. Can't talk to a super hardcore Christian about tarot cards, because guess what? If God forbid you change their mind. I'm not trying to change nobody's mind. I'm not trying to make anybody convert. I'm just trying to spread my knowledge. If you ask me questions, I'll answer them. But I'm not going to go preach at a church about Pleiadians.
Right.
Just like you're not going to go to a math class talking about science.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to go to a rock concert talking about where's the country.
Yeah, where's Garth at? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're not going to go down to the Caribbean talking about where's fucking Reba McEntire. There's time and a place. That's all it is. And, you know, you choose who you want to talk to and who you don't. And as long as you don't force some shit down somebody's throat, I mean, you can talk about, you know, what you're educated in. But, I love me some God-fearing Christians. There's some good people, but don't come talking to me about it and tell me that what I do is evil.
Yeah, if you need your car worked on or something, you know, they're not bad.
I love being called evil. Then motherfuckers stay away from me. They can say whatever they want, but they know goddamn well that fine, be scared of me. Yeah, Shandy's evil. She does magic. Yeah, of course, since the beginning of time, we have that image because the motherfuckers stay away from us. It's called psychology.
Yeah, shape-shifting. Shape-shifting was not created by the dark. It was created to adapt to any dimension that you might be in that is not consistent with your normal.
They don't believe in reincarnation, but okay, such and so in the Bible lived to be 700 years old with 45 kids. How can that be in one lifetime, you weirdo?
Well, don't you know? Just like with the magic, it just happened. It only happened back then. It only happened back then.
Time was different then. You know, time was different in the Bible days. I said that religion was like one of the last ones created. They're copycats of all the other ones. Thank you very much.
Look at all the drawings on the walls and of UFOs and of extraterrestrials and what looks to be astronauts. You can believe
in Jesus all you want, but you better fucking you better put that Christmas tree up right now. You better light that Yule log because you're keeping paganism alive. You don't even know you're doing it.
And there's such an undertone too to the religion about, especially in America, about keeping extraterrestrial references out of there, right? They don't want you to think there's life on other planets or anything like that.
And they don't even realize Yeshua is the original OG Magi not from here. Like,
well, yeah, no, none of them were. The Nephilim, the Anunnaki, I mean, they're not from this planet. Extraterrestrial means not originally of Earth. But I had one pastor tell me, well, I've never seen anywhere in the Bible where it refers to extraterrestrials. The whole fucking thing is, your dogma of a book is littered with it.
Right.
It's littered with extraterrestrials.
For sure. Come down
Eric
from the
Von Däniken broke it down perfectly.
The clouds split and the rivers parted and blah, blah, blah. That's pretty
or Sodom and Gomorrah, if all that shit was real, even, they've got a fake interpretation of it. I love how Eric Von Däniken, the legendary writer, broke it down with Chariots of the Gods, man. This is more than likely what they were seeing if they saw this shit at all. Sodom and Gomorrah, an ancient nuclear war. A big loudspeaker over the city that God was yelling something.
Well,
God wasn't yelling.
The Christians just copy all the other religions and put a little bit here together, a little bit there. Yeah. And, it took them months and months to rewrite the Bible because they couldn't agree. They had to satisfy the Vatican Church.
No, of course. Just like with Congress or the Senate.
Why do you think they keep all the sacred texts locked up in the basement? All the real, true, the Emerald Tablets and shit, they're locked up. Why? Because if we are able to read them and find God within ourselves, we would have no use for the fucking Vatican or no use for churches. They'd lose all their money and lose all their credibility if we actually, were able to access those sacred texts, those Elder Sea Scrolls and all that shit that they keep under lock and key because they're so scared for people to find God within themselves, and then their organization would crumble to the ground.
Don't you think all that's within us, though? Who do you think it is exactly that has that shit under lock and key, and where do you think it possibly?
Like, who's the boss that says that? It's just all that I don't know. I don't know how they work over there, but that Vatican's been the boss of the world since the beginning, since kings and queens.
Yeah. They have been, and I'm not one to go there. I don't really like covering that subject because it's so touchy. It's so touchy. I really don't give a fuck about that part. I don't give a fuck about what anybody feels about their feelings about it. What I'm saying is it's so overdone and been talked about so many times that it's like until there's something new. It's one of them things where everybody already knows about, so it has their opinion set in stone. So there's really no use in educating people on that particular subject.
Right. And
until when something happens, it'll happen. When something breaks and they crumble and it's big, it'll happen. But with that, it's like you don't really have to enlighten anybody to that particular.
Well, with the Emerald Tablets, I had the Emerald Tablets on my audiobooks, and I was listening to it, and anybody can access it. But the fact is, you cannot process it unless you are of a different, unless you're enlightened like we are.
Right.
So basically, the actual, for it to activate and work in normal people's lives, the ones the original, like, glowing Emerald Tablets, it's like, I already, it's basically just like the Kabbalion. It's nothing that I don't already fucking know about how to live right and just be good. Yeah. I mean, just live right, be good, shut up, love, be a good person and go home.
All that stuff's great for reference points and to educate yourself on once, but it's kind of like living in the past. When you start talking about Thoth and Moth and Roth and all these other fuckers, dude, I mean, they're comic book characters to me. They're just
all religions are the same. They're all the same with different demigods and different stories. When it comes down to it, they all got the golden rule: do unto others, right?
Right. If you're fascinated by it, it's interesting, right? I would imagine. But if you get caught up on talking about all that bullshit all the time, I mean, that shit's old news. I mean, those guys are so old; it's comic book stuff to me now.
Right. And because I come from a different perspective, like looking down, I'm fascinated. I don't participate in the isms, classism, racism, religion, and shit like that. So I observe and I learn and I examine and I research and I, figure it out just because I want to know, because it's so fascinating.
Well, on the page, on our orbs page, sometimes this guy would come in there once in a while and, you be careful around those orbs. They're evil spirits. And I finally told him.
Just like the lady I channeled the other night, I did a mediumship. It wasn't his grandpa. It was an evil spirit. It was the demon. Oh, okay. But he knew all,
fucking with you because you're that important where they would give a fuck about you. But you know what I told this guy finally after telling him, when's he going on his comedy tour many a time? I said, look, man, I said, if you're trying to convince anybody of anything different, you're in the wrong fucking in the wrong page.
You're in the wrong fucking.
And if you're also trying to
church, my guy.
I said, dude, there's a little bit of truth to some of what you're saying, but you're talking to people that are light year. You're in a place right now where people are light years above that bullshit you're talking about. Light years.
Like, what are you trying to debunk?
Yeah, I mean, I just am telling you,
get the fuck out of here, you minion.
Yeah, well, I was nice to him. I said, you're just wasting, brother. You're wasting your time at this point, man.
Just like a Satanist trying to convert Christians to Satanism. You're wasting your time.
Well, when I tell people that Jesus is coming back, or when people tell me Jesus come back in physical form, a lot of times I will tell them, yeah, he is. You're right. He's coming from Antarctica in a slow, leaky raft, and he decided the only power he would take with him on the journey would be some Scotch tape to tape up holes in that raft. So it's going to take him a while to get here. I mean, for real, man. I mean, the consciousness has always been here, right? And maybe, and what he's coming back.
And that goes back to the religion, finding God within yourself. God forbid the Catholic Church lets you do that. That's what it all boils down to, is finding that light within yourself and shining it bright so it burns motherfuckers' eyes.
The real truth of him coming back is when the majority of people on the planet are embodied with that consciousness, with a similar consciousness that he had, right?
Yep, and they get rid of that fear-based, anal fucking religious fucking dogma mentality.
But we're taught
he's not that Christ consciousness. Yeah, the metaphor of it is not going to be complete until the majority of the beings on this earth are in coherence with one another to where it can support it.
Right. And,
so that frequency can be a thing.
Movies have programmed a lot of people to have that fear base too. It's like, but it's the same old dogma. When you see the woman who's at a house in the middle of nowhere and she goes down she's all alone, and she'll go down to the bottom floor and start checking fucking in the dark, checking shit out in the dark by herself and doing shit like that. Dude, if I was in a scenario like that and I really thought fucking Jason or Freddy was in the house, dude, and I didn't have anything to defend myself with, dude, I'd be fucking running like a motherfucker out the door at the first thought of it.
And then when you look at it, at the end of the day, those types of mean characters, all them guys, all they were abused and hurt little kids.
That's the thing too. I'm glad you touched on that. I'm glad you said that too.
They're not really evil. They're just
they've been
little
abused.
Boys
they had a fucked up life, childhood growing up. And I've known some of these people, man. That it will not quite.
My friend Abby is a traveling nurse, and she worked at MHI, the cuckoo hospital, for a little while, and she was in the teenage ward. And I wanted to be a criminal psychologist, but I realized 90% of these kids that they say are cuckoo are just abused.
Totally, and you're caught up in the dogma.
Neglected and abused. So
if you went into that line of work, and really trying to help, what you'd find, and God love you if you did, what you would find is that you're caught in a system though too. Right? There's only motherfucking much you can do.
I wanted to get in the mind of cuckoo people, but 90%, there's only like 1% of true cuckoo people in this world. There's always determining factors as to why they're cuckoo. Drugs, alcohol, abuse, neglect, everything.
And you know what's funny though?
It's not because you were born cuckoo. It's because something happened to make you cuckoo.
If you had that kind of power to be a counselor like that, right? You have all the power in the world to get them in trouble, but you have zero power to really help them, right? If you had it out for them, you were one of these fuckers that had it out.
And you can't help them because they needed their mom and dad, and you're not their mom and dad.
But if you wanted to make their life hell, you have all the power in the world to really do that as a probation officer or a youth counselor. You could do that if you wanted to. But if you're truly on the opposite one to help, dude, good luck.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to be, and I'm like, fuck big pharma, fuck all that bullshit, fuck the healthcare system. I'm a psychologist for the soul. So instead of me giving you a pill to shut you up, you're gonna come to me, and I'm gonna figure out what we got to do, whether it's a reading, whether it's a meditation, whether it's fucking smoking a doobie, or whatever we got to do to heal you and help you. To be a better person, because that's what it's all about.
What if we had a society that was like that?
99% of problems is childhood trauma. And if you bury that shit so deep down and you can't remember it, how can you heal it and resolve it?
Dude, people what you call normal, we're not normal, but have so much fucked up shit anyway. Even if all that shit didn't happen to them, can you imagine having to see all that shit that they saw day in and day out, night in and night out?
I had all kinds of shit happen to me, and it's like I'm different. I don't consider myself as anybody else, but them types of people that have all that shit happen, and then they just use that as an excuse to be all depressed and sad and be part of the solution, not the problem.
Right, because there's really people out there that saw fucked up shit
my dad hit my mom, so I'm gonna be an abuser. Like, what kind of sense does that make, you weird ass fucking? That means that you're just perpetuating the problem, and you're like,
But when you combine that going on in a house with also fucking say like gangs coming in and out all day and night, prostitution going on, all that shit. When you combine all those factors together, you're really behind the 8 ball as far as you got my permission to use that as an excuse and I've seen a million kids that live that
and a lot of times they suppress all them memories from childhood. They don't remember growing up. You have to go into deep trance and like shamanic journeys and hypnotizations to even go to those traumatic events, to even remember them, to even try to resolve them.
You brought up a point there. I wonder how many people don't even know that they have that going on, because I've talked to so many people.
I didn't. I went on shamanic journey to retrieve soul fragments.
Okay, you didn't know then before.
From traumatic events, and I went to this one bedroom when one of my mom's good friends, and I was in the bedroom, and I opted to get out of it because I was like, oh my god, I didn't even know that fucking happened.
Well, what I'm getting at is I talked to a few normal people that have, they don't think anything happened to them at all, period. Grew up in a great home. They can't remember before the age of 10. They can't even remember they can't remember the age of 5 either. And I have fluid memories back to when I was about almost 2 years old, all the time. I mean, I have them from the crib.
Your childhood like that in a chunk, that means something happened.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember back to the crib, but what I'm getting at is I can remember from just about almost 2 years old on, right? Pretty fluidly, every event, everything that ever happened to me, right?
Me too.
And I had some crazy shit happen.
Things, that I didn't even know happened. Maybe like because my house was a party house, so maybe one night, a drunk uncle came into my room or some dumb shit. I don't know. Oh,
really? Yeah. See, I had some shit like that happen.
I don't have any conscious memory of that, but I bet if I go into a meditative state and I want to go to any specific point in time, I can go to that point in time and dredge up those hurtful, traumatic events to resolve them and, to be a better person. But no, you cannot heal if you've buried what's happened so far deep that you don't.
Yeah, but you understand that it could be. But see, you're at that point. You understand that could be an innate possibility. So I'll throw it back to you and ask you, what do you think? Do you think, or do you know if there's anything that could help you if you were to discover something like that out?
You would have to not be a chicken shit like me and just go through the whole meditation until it's
no, I know, but no, I get all that shit. I wouldn't call it that. What I'm asking you is, what do you think there's anything that it would help you with, or do you honestly not know? You probably don't know.
I mean, it would help me in helping other people, I guess. But those people that are really traumatized, like the muggles and whatever, because of that shit, it will help them understand why they are the way they are, why they choose this, or why their lives, because they're always so confused as to why their adult life's so fucked up. Well, let's go back. Let's rewind to childhood, your formative years, and figure out what happened then. And then that can lead to clues as to why you are the way you are.
Yeah, but you already personally know that's what would happen. But do you?
I inherently psychologically know that shit because that's just who I am.
Yeah. Do you think though that it would help you to know that? Say that shit happened to you and you don't know it. Would it do you think it would help you in any way to know it now, because you already know and can empathize?
The one time I did it and I opted out and I got scared and I came out of the meditation, it didn't do anything but allow me to realize that there are suppressed memories that people are having that they don't fucking relate to, that is hindering them from success, and that might be their problem, and if they can't figure out what the fuck's wrong, and that's probably why.
Right, and two, I got to thinking about that also, like one person I'm thinking that I talked to about that, I know she had a pretty good home coming up, but there could have been some time where something happened to her at a freak situation where it was somebody was visiting that doesn't normally, some weird thing. It wasn't something that was a constant in her life, but it went on this one or two times. I was
protected by all my uncles, but my mom could have had some partier come over and pass out in my bed or something, like at the end of the kegger. Yeah. And who knows what might have happened, a random shit. It wasn't like a daily thing where it was constant.
Yeah.
But it could be some random shit. And if it is a constant thing, then that's a whole deprogramming of if you know what's happened to you, you can just use it for your advantage. That way you can make people aware and be proactive about it. Don't use it and use it as an excuse to fucking have a fucked up life. I don't believe that shit. Everybody's had some fucked up shit happen. You be part of the solution, not the problem. Acknowledge it and then choose to change because of it. You choose your parents, you choose the adult figures as a kid in your birth chart to learn lessons. So you might as well learn the lessons and don't be an excuse as to why you want to perpetuate the cycles of this, like my daughter's friend. Well, my dad used to make me whatever, punish me like this, so I'm going to punish my kids the same way. Did you like that when you were a kid? No. Then why are you making your kids feel like that? Weird, weird, weird.
Yeah. Yeah, why would you want
it? I don't get that. I'm a cycle breaker, my guy. I'm a cycle breaker.
Yeah, you know what? Times change, and thank God they move forward and they change, and we don't act like that anymore. We don't call people by
Well, when I do mediumships, the first thing that they want to tell the person is, the first thing that they reiterate, let's say, is they want to let's say I channeled your grandpa. He would want to let you know that how things were at that time, explain it to you that it was a different time and this is how things were. So regardless of how they wanted to be, that's just how the times were, and that's wherever they grew up at, they're old Hispanics or whatever, and that's how they were. That way you can get a sense of understanding as, it's wartime. Those were war times. Those were different times. So don't, hold anything against them, because they could only do what they could do within their means of where they live.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean they got to keep doing it. It doesn't mean that future generations have to keep doing it.
No,
right?
Not at all.
Right.
You have to be a cycle breaker. My families were alcoholics, and my dad was never a woman beater, but like my baby daddy, he told me he beat me because his mom beat his dad.
Yeah,
so
that's a fucked up reason.
You didn't have no drugs.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very fucked up reason.
Why do you want to go in the army? Because my dad was in the army. Why do you do this? Because my dad did that. Well, shouldn't you know that my dad did that? So don't do that.
Yeah.
My dad's a Scorpio perv when he gets drunk, and he likes teenage girls. That should show me that I don't want to be like that.
Yeah, it really. I mean, and it does for a lot of good kids. A lot of kids, it makes them see what not to do. I've seen a lot of cases.
And if they have no support and no father or mother figure or family figure, and they're just raised on the street, they 9 times out of 10 become statistics. I've seen it with all the little hoodlums in my town. They're all in jail or locked up because they had nobody to look up to, and they're just perpetuating the cycle.
Isn't it sad? It's terrible.
The whole thing about getting out the hood. It's a conscious decision.
It's terrible, and we're stuck in a society where a system that doesn't help that at all either. They don't help that. They use the way that we,
especially in a racist town or something like that.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh, well, sure.
Where it's like, in my town too. Oh, you're in Montgomery. Oh, yeah, you're destined for prison.
Oh,
and
fuck.
Pre-iterated by the police that, just because you're a Johnson or just because you're a Fuller, that means that, you're going to be bad because your aunts and uncles were bad.
Yeah,
my son's friends, they get in trouble because of their last name, and they didn't even do nothing.
It kind of reminds me of Dukes of Hazzard. And, the people still that are, like a lot of people, not telling you a stereotype, that are from that region of the United States, a lot of people still think that kind of way down there. I've noticed that it's ingrained into
him. Moved down south, and he moved down there in the wherever in the goddamn Delta, and they tried to kill him because he talked to the one black guy. He said, "Well, I'm from Iowa." They're like, "We don't give a fuck where you're from. You don't mingle with them down here." And he's like, "Fuck this shit. I'm going back up north because y'all this is not that good."
Yeah, I mean,
he's like, and they wanted to kill me because I wanted to talk to a black coworker. He's like, because I grew up in Iowa where everybody was everybody's friend. I said, yeah, they're still outdated in those southern towns like that down there.
Yeah, that's funny you brought that up. My mom was just telling me the other day when she went down to Los Angeles in this was in the late 60s. She went and stayed with my great aunt and her husband Cecil. He was from Mississippi. So my mom had a job at KFC at like 18. A black guy, her boss, brought her home one night, and she got a rash of ass chewing for 2 days from Uncle Cecil because a black man brought her home. And I mean,
my dad's mom.
But he was a funny guy. But you would never. That surprised me to hear about him because he was a happy-go-lucky, good old Southern boy and everything. But it showed how ingrained that still was in him, and he'd been out here a while, right?
Even my dad's mom and dad, they didn't like them. That older generation that are pretty much gone now. They don't like them colored folk. But guess what? All your grandkids and great grandkids are mixed. So now how you
thank
feel
God,
about that?
And thank God for that too. Thank God. The 1950s. They talk about my dad, and I have this out all the time. How wonderful they were to grow up in. He thought as a kid. I said, Dad, they were wonderful. If you were a middle class or above, Christian or not anti-Christian white guy, it was fun. But if you were a woman of any race, and if you were a minority in gender, you were. It wasn't such a fucking golden era.
Yep. All my mom's racist friends all have mixed grandbabies. Now what? Ha!
Well, now they're fading. Now they're dying away, thankfully, and they would have had to go get it. They would have had to get it or lump it at some point, right?
Well, believe me, like I said, from being a starseed perspective, I don't do the isms, I don't do the racism, the classism, the sexism, and believe you me, there's bad to every single color and race there is. There's bad to every nationality. There's good Mexicans, bad Mexicans, good black white, whatever. Just like there's good Christians, bad Christians, good witches, bad witches.
Yeah.
It don't matter. There's evolved and unevolved signs, astrological signs too. So basically, it's just you choose how you want to be. Like you want that for your path, and so be it.
Yeah, right. And you know what? It makes it a lot easier. It's funny. It makes it a lot easier when you come up in a more stable environment, right? You're not quite behind the
They're like,
ball.
oh, you got white privilege. I said, no, I got pretty girl privilege.
Yeah, but there is a lot of white privilege.
I smile and show a little titty, and I'm fucking
golden. Right. You can do that, right? There is still a lot of white privilege. White privilege is still very prevalent in the United States, and it's not necessarily it's not a money thing. It's the fact that there are, you could get away with, I could get away with walking in some
because
parts.
They're in positions of power, like the government and the, like the ones in charge, quote, in charge, like the presidents of everything are all white.
Well, they are.
And my town, if there's a black, our mayor's black, and he went to school with me, but he grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, and he speaks white, so he's like not ghetto.
Yeah.
But they're trying to get him out of here because, he's bringing all these rappers to town and making everything all fun for us. But God forbid,
yeah.
Good Lord, get the fuck out of here. Stop it.
Well, right. Exactly,
I don't
right?
Dude, I can't deal with the racism bullshit because my dude, what are you talking about? What do you mean, dude? Like, dude, no. If you actually, went to school and learned about the colors, what? My grandson's mixed with, Vietnamese, black and white, and he's like, I'm not black, I'm brown. He's like, and he said, I'm Blasian and I'm brown, and my nanny's got a whole bunch of black on her with all her freckles.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, if you take all my freckles and put them right on my arm, I'll have a little square that's black. I'm like, dude, it don't matter, man. It just depends on where you live in the United States too. That's a big deal. That makes a big difference.
Yeah, right. I'm lucky enough to have grown up out here on the West Coast where it's different, right? It's not quite. Oh, that's yours. Oh, mine's coming in too. My little Lyran guy. He's probably
he was my cat that we lost, Captain Jack Sparrow, a black Maine Coon we lost during the fire 2 years ago. He's been showing up in this parking lot, and I know it's him. He's Sparrow now, but he's right there. He's got the fluffy tail and the white. Jackie boy, Captain Jack Sparrow, kiki. He's right there, the black cat.
Right, but I think you're onto something as far as mixing. I think it's a good thing. I think but this is hundreds of years away. America will be a hybrid race.
Think about when you think about aliens, they all look exactly the same, right? So until the world, back in the day, I thought until the world was all one color, but due to the intermixing of races, there will not be world peace. So me having Vietnamese kids and shit like that, I think I'm contributing to the whole integration of maybe one day humanity being, one shade or whatever.
Well, you know what? Terence McKenna was a great philosopher, and he had this vision come to him where there was a separate earth that didn't go along with the religious dogma. Instead of wars, all these different societies intermingled with each other right away. The Greeks, the Romans, the Aztecs, everybody, right? The Vikings, all these different cultures. And what happened was,
I don't understand why there's different languages,
they exchanged technology with each other, and they formed one big planetary society that went to the moon by 1250 AD, I think, came to him.
Called Universalist Unitarian Church.
Yeah.
And it has everybody, black, white, gay, straight, whatever, and they just preach spirituality, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
I think so, too. It's what a light center should be. It's what I think of an ultimate metaphysical light center.
And I live with a Buddhist family in Little Saigon, and just going into the Buddhist temples and just praying on your own without somebody yelling at you is the most peaceful, amazing spiritual feeling you can get.
Yeah, absolutely right.
I don't do organized religion. I don't do, who are you? Who are you?
It feels so unjudgmental.
You're better than me. You know more than me. You're trying to tell me how to live my life. Get the fuck out of here and go fuck your wife later tonight. Get out of here. You shit just like me.
Yeah, the church I went to, the pastor every month on a Sunday, it was a everybody brought their own dish, right? And so what he would do is he would judge all these ladies' dishes, right? What you like the best, and guess what the winner got? The winner got the privilege of buying dinner and cooking dinner for the pastor and his wife. On that particular, if they won that, they got to come over the following Wednesday and cook dinner for him and his wife, and make them that same dish, and they got to pay for the dinner to make. The pastor didn't pay
what
for
is that? A trip? That's more better than a trip to Disneyland.
Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of how it goes. And then of course he would critique all the dishes too. He'd be like, "Well, this was good, Mary Ethel, but little more salt would have been
like,
nice.
if you win, you get to fuck the pastor.
You
get first dibs on the pastor right after church service. Okay, you get first dibs. It's like, what? They make you think it's a reward, but it's actually a punishment.
To go buy all the shit and go over and make it from scratch at the pastor's house or bring it to him made.
Just like, for an example, like they make you think that, you're winning some kind of prize, but actually it's like, no, they're just making it seem like that. But hey, whatever works, man. You know why they do it? Because they can.
It's a good hustle. Yeah, they can, exactly. That's it, right? And God love them. It's a good hustle. It's like that person that tried to get you to pay. But it's like that person who tried to get you to pay $6,000 for her awakening class. I know somebody that did it for a witchcraft class or a witch class. It's like, hey, you know what? All I have to say, I don't have an opinion on it. Yeah, man. I mean, God bless America. God bless America.
God knows your heart, and karma's gonna come back around because she's not a bitch unless you are.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? God bless America. If you can go make a buck doing that, there are some people that are worth it. But
whatever's clever, Trevor.
Yeah.
Whatever helps you better at night, whatever floats your goat.
There wouldn't be a supply if there wasn't a demand. You know what I'm saying? So.
And then to that, and they wouldn't get away with it if they weren't still getting away with it.
All right. And hey, man. Hey, you know what? There's a sucker born every minute, right?
Yeah. It's like, why does that kid get to be naughty like that? Because he can. Why is he using you for this and that? Because he can.
You know what? It's like this, Shandy. I'm going to bring this up. So these college kids now that play football, they have these NIL deals, and some are making millions of dollars. Good for them. The schools have ripped them off for fucking years, making them play for nothing. And these kids are making all this money now. They're millionaires before they get out of college. Be good. Look at the college coaches have been making fucking shitloads of money off these kids for fucking years. Back when they weren't even allowed to take money.
They're going to give you a new Mustang if you enroll in the Army.
They had to change that because finally and allow these kids to start making money like that because they weren't letting them take any money from anybody because they were an amateur, right? But this fat ass fucking coach could go home to his big mansion and shit like that, but the kid couldn't even afford a meal. I mean, I'm not kidding.
It's like a Ponzi scheme.
Look, Charles Barkley was a famous NBA player. He said that one time he was starving in college and he went to go to his girlfriend's parents' house to eat. He walks by the student store and they're selling his fucking jersey in there, right? And he ain't getting a cut of it. That fat ass fucking coach of his was getting a cut of it. All the lazy fucks in his life were getting a cut of it, but he was not getting a cut of it, right? So good for these kids. Just like when sports players go on strike for something, they want to bitch about these players making too much money. Oh, they're millionaires. Well, their owners are fucking multi-billion. Their owners are multi-billionaires. You dumb shit.
But they act like this is news to them. Like it's
yeah. But don't get pissed at the players for striking for a better deal, even though they're already what you call rich.
Hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah. If you're gonna start hating hate the owner, hate the billionaire owner that isn't doing jack shit, right? That definitely with that kind of money inherited it.
Not my stage. Yeah, but more power to them if they keep
getting away with it. Yeah, you know what? Right, exactly. But people want to get, those players are millionaires. They don't need any more money. Well, no shit, but those billionaire owners certainly don't need any more fucking money. So put your frustration at them first before you do the players. And these college kids, fuck, dude. Let these kids get paid.
Your kid was a failure.
Let this kid get paid, man. It's not a failure, but they have that opportunity.
It's more money than that kid ever had.
Yeah, let them get paid, but you want to complain about them making the money, but you don't give a fuck. Oh, they're getting a free education. They're not getting a free fuck the free education. They should be getting it already.
My youngest son is a professional trader, and he trades for other people. Yeah. And people are like, "Why don't he trade for himself? He's getting Jude." I'm like, he has more money than our whole family put together. He is fine.
Yeah. I mean, they get these kids are getting they get scholarships. They're already getting rewarded with a free education. Everybody should be getting that for fucking nothing anyway. Okay, seriously, in America, folks, we don't do that, but they should be anyway. But besides all that shit, those big athletes that are making that kind of money, they're not there. They're there for
an uproar about things they can't control.
Yeah, they're there for an opportunity to go into the NBA or the fucking NFL.
Like, if you're so mad, call your congressman. Write a strongly worded letter to your fucking city council, okay?
And here's the thing, too. They can turn pro early, but then they bitch. Oh, these guys just leave college right away. Well, no shit, because if they were to get hurt If they were to get hurt, they fuck up their chances of getting paid, yo. Of course they're gonna leave some bullshit college to go
and
fucking.
Those people bitching about it, like, what do you got going? You got nothing going on in your life that you got to bitch about these other people. Like, who cares about your opinion?
I mean, dude, they're getting paid, yo. I mean, get out of there.
Yeah, like, worry about your side of the street, my guy. Cause
really. Oh, he should have stayed for his senior year. It would have been so great. He should have played in that last game. Bullshit.
And your opinion don't matter to me.
Yeah. Show me the money. I'd have, forward. Show me the money.
If you have the power to change it, then you want to be proactive and you can change it, then, change it. But just talking shit about it is not going to do any good, but just make you look like a dumbass.
Plus, these kids are young entrepreneurs. I like how they're putting their brains together like that and getting, hey, look, fuck, we're going to get paid. We ain't playing for some bullshit college for the pride of it. Fuck all that nonsense.
Right, yeah, fuck all that.
Yeah, we're getting paid, yo. I mean, these people have been breaking our the people before us, their backs for decades.
And them young college kids love the game, too, so it's
so it's good. So let them get paid too. That's what I'm saying. The fat ass coach that goes out and just recruits and tells them what a great college it would be to come to. We have very little rapes on our campus. Yeah, they talk a good game of bullshit and they get paid handsomely to go out and do that.
Right. Just like any advertiser, anything.
Yeah,
it's up to you if you want to fall for the shit or not. I mean, and if you go for it, then go for it. That's your path. But it's like people don't need to down people for their hustle. That's their hustle.
That's their hustle. I'm all for it.
Don't hate me because you hate me.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I had this guy the other day. I heard my dad and his sister on the phone. Oh, they're big college football fans here out in Oregon, and I'm like, oh well. They're like, oh well, these kids now, it ain't right. They're getting paid all this money. Dad, the fucking colleges have been breaking their backs forever.
Be a congressman then.
Yeah, no shit. These college kids have had their back broken by these fucking controllers that run these colleges.
You ain't got nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, well, that's what I say to them all the time. I said, dude,
that's that same type of gossip. He said, she said, lower vibrational conversation.
Very lower vibrational. Oh, they watch Fox News all day, and you know what a bigotry outlet that is. Yeah, that's a bigotry outlet.
Nothing to bitch about. They just want to bitch and bitch because they ain't got nothing going on.
Totally. Absolutely right, but it's okay that the college.
I just let my dad bitch about his roommate when he's actually a hypocrite, but I don't call him out because you choose your battles. Let him go.
Yeah, I do.
Let him bitch.
Yeah, usually I do too. Yeah,
because they ain't changing.
Well, no, they're not, and that kind of mentality.
If see reason, they're not going to fucking see reason. They're just going to start arguing with you.
That kind of mentality is ridiculous, but you see these. I've seen a lot of stupid fucks go, oh, those players make too much money. Well, look, fucker, before you open your mouth with that, these owners, what about the owners that are billionaires that are breaking these fucking people's backs?
But don't condemn the kids.
Yeah, I mean, are you kidding me? Because you're going to bitch about that player for being too talented because he worked his fucking ass off from the time he was a little kid.
That's like bitching about a big corporation about, these kids don't pay them shit, but look at the bosses of the company. You're not looking at those guys, are you?
Yeah, no, they're not. The bosses of the company are breaking the backs of these people, right? And the coaches, same thing. Right. The owners of these teams, the coaches in college, the university heads, they've been all too happy to get fat off this fucking money, and they're not even sharing any of it now. This shit's coming from the college kids are allowed to do their own deals now. The college, these cheap ass fucking colleges that are making billions of dollars they're not parting with any of their fucking money. So it's no skin off their back. But back in the day, some guys were screwed over because they took fucking $20 from an agent to go eat when they weren't professionals yet.
Coaches that are billionaires, anybody that's a billionaire like that, they're getting paid.
Totally terrible.
Let's just hope they have a life insurance policy where they can pass their money on down to their family because they can't take it with them.
You can't take it with you. I mean, these are billionaires. This isn't somebody who's worked their ass off their whole life to build $1 million, making $1 million bucks a year, whatever. These are fuckers that are generational wealthy.
Mentality. I said if we're all meant to be millionaires, we would all be millionaires. Dumb.
Well, but they could share that either. We're all meant to have everything we need. We're meant to have all the water we need, the food we need, the power we need, right? We're meant to have that. And there's no reason for somebody to be a billionaire on this planet.
I mean, I lived the rich life in California, and I was pretty good at fucking well-off money being poor my whole life. And guess what I did? I didn't go buy $5,000 purses. I went to the 99-cent store and spent $200 and bought 200 things.
Yeah, I mean, that's their thing. I don't care about that.
But bought more stuff. I didn't let it get to me or whatever. And it's like, It don't matter at the end of the day. And this lifetime's test is selfish material greed. And if you can overcome that, then not having the best in the bling bling, then you can overcome anything. You can manifest whatever you need if you don't ask for dumb shit you don't want.
Right.
My needs are met. I don't have a bank account. I don't have a savings account. I have 50 cents to my name, but guess what? Every day my needs are met because I am on the right side of karma.
You have people that are caught in that dogma, though. A lot of religious people, that conservative mentality of politically too, of that's just for them. They want their taxes, or they bitch. Fucking quit bitching about your taxes and don't drive on the road. Don't drive on the road anymore. Don't ask for any emergency services ever. Don't go drive on the road because that road has to be upkept, even though it's paid for. Who cares if it's paid for? It has to be upkept. You pay your taxes, you dumb fuck.
But they bitch about things they can't control. At least try to change some things.
Yeah, and they're going to pay them anyway. My tax dollars are going to that. Well, fuck, dude, your tax dollars are going to be taken anyway, you dumb shit.
That's why I'm not. And you're not. I don't pay taxes.
Bitch about the shit you're not getting anything for it from, like free healthcare in the United States, right? Like, which would save us money to do because we can cut through the red tape of all the other bullshit we have to do.
Tax dollars move to a different country.
Yeah, right. Right. They 40% in Scandinavia, but they take care of their people.
Exactly.
They take care of their fucking people there, right? They don't here. And so these people want to bitch about what little taxes they do pay, that it's helping the roads, that it might go to some young girl who's confused for having an abortion. I mean, get the fuck out of here, man. Stay out of people's bedrooms and stay out of their body and their fucking, in their bedrooms. I mean, who cares if somebody wants to marry somebody of the same sex? Good. You know what? I have the perfect solution. If you're not for that and you have a problem with it, don't marry somebody of the same sex. If you don't like abortion, don't have one.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if you really thought it was wrong and you really believed the book.
If anything happens outside the perimeter of my home,
yeah,
and if you don't eat with me, if you don't use my toilet, if you don't sleep with me, then it is not my concern.
Yeah, and if it's not affecting anybody in your realm or your orbit or, that kind of shit, don't get off on the what could happen, this could happen, that could happen,
if it doesn't affect your home and your perimeter of your yard, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it's a valid point, right? It's a fair point.
Outside your home is the wild. All you got to worry about is what goes on inside wherever you go.
Yeah, I know, but so many people have a problem with that. They want to give their opinion on some John married John or Susie married Ellen back in the Midwest or somewhere. I mean, who? Yeah, or somebody, some confused young girl had a fucking abortion.
Choosing your battles. You don't want to, you just sit there and you just argue with, you're not going to argue with a brick wall.
Yeah, but here's the hypocrisy too on the abortion thing, right? They don't want you to have an abortion, but yet they're not willing to take the kid, or they're not willing to do anything with it. But they're not willing to also, they also preach that God is the ultimate judgment. Well, if God's the ultimate judgment, that's not for you to judge the person for having one. And you certainly weren't going to raise the kid. And those type of people always vote down school lunches. They vote down.
Like I said, they care about it. It's not your mom, it's not your sister, so don't worry about it.
They care about the child while it's a blood clot in the body, but they don't give a fuck about it once it's born out in the public. They vote down Head Start programs. They vote down school lunches. They vote down teaching about abstinence in a way of you giving birth control instead of just preaching. I mean, not abstinence, but birth control.
Right,
they want you to preach abstinence.
People that are bitching about it,
they want you to preach abstinence.
They have no power to change it, so why bitch about it?
Right, yeah. Preach to a bunch of kids about abstinence while you fuck somebody in the car of a backseat of a 1957 Chevy. Yeah, but you think your dumbass it was okay to do it, but your kid...
They're mainly hypocrites.
Yeah, but your kid who's more consciousness than you, has a lot more, wouldn't want to try something like that too, but because you did it and you don't think it was right because you were too stupid to make the right decision afterwards.
On a grand scheme, like who cares what the...
man, why do you, really?
Like have such a strong opinion about like the government and like what the healthcare does to whoever. It's like worry about what they're doing to you and your daughter. And that's
right. And if more people did that though, it would be better off for the whole everybody. If you did that just for you, right? It truly
because the government don't give a fuck what you think.
Well, depending on who you are, that's true.
Well, they don't. I mean, as far as like if you're going to bitch about abortion, the people that are in control of those laws,
they're doing it. That's just a stage at that point. Yeah, that's just a kind of a stage at that point. But there's so many layers to it. You have senators and congressmen below that it would be in their best interest to take this stance on this, that stance on that. And it's just kind of the game they play.
Of course, they're corrupt and they're the reptilians and they don't give a fuck about
well, yeah, I know, and it's not.
It's never going to work.
And yet it's not that simple either, because the people that we see in front of us doing that are not.
And this is like tale as old as time.
Right. And the people that you see.
When you're a kid, you think the president controls everything, but when you grow up, you realize that's
no, he doesn't. I know that because I used to work deep into politics, and I know that Obama had zero power when he was president, except for an executive order if he wanted to use them, and he did to make gay marriage legal. But he was controlled by a conservative, a House and Senate, 6 of his 8 years in the first.
That's why I don't.
You can't. People don't understand that it isn't the president; it's the House and the Senate. Then it has to. They have to do a bill. The president can only sign or veto it.
There's
right?
A process.
That's it. Very process to all this. So there's steps in. Without knowing the meat of the subject, you can know the beginning of the story. You can know the end of the story. But
you don't know the details.
If you skip all the meat in between, you better be a super enlightened person to be able to really give a intelligent opinion.
That's why I don't fool with politics.
It's a deep game. Yeah, I tell people that it's not anywhere near as bad as you think it is, but it's worse than you can imagine. At the same time, it's both.
Right.
Because it just depends.
If you're not in the politics game, then don't speak on it.
Yeah, don't. I have requirements. I don't go there anymore. I don't go there anymore, but I have requirements. You better know how many senators.
Not you, but like Gertrude Smith talking shit about this and that and the third. Like, shut up! You're at home watching the news.
I tell them, listen, you better be able to tell me.
You're not out there being proactive to try to change.
Yeah, you better know how many senators we have, how many congressional representatives we have, how a bill gets passed, how a bill gets introduced, how a president can veto it, how it can be overridden if he vetoes it. That shit is just basic 101 to know. Basic 101 if you're going to talk it. Yeah.
What's that cartoon that was on there? It was like the bill on Capitol Hill.
Oh, yeah, it's from Schoolhouse Rock. Yeah. I'm just a bill on the hill. And it explains that we don't, that kind of education was good, but the 70s was kind of an enigma where we actually cared about people and did shit right, but that was just like a fluke. Shouldn't even happen in our crazy timeline. Schoolhouse Rock was very...
overtake the government, but so many people depend on the government that they don't because... The government has made them so dependent on them that they won't revolt because they need their medicine, they need their Social Security, they need their food stamps, they're in the matrix.
Well, here's the thing, though. The government is them, but that shit is all owed to them, though. But that shit is all owed to them, but they deserve more than that, too. They deserve more than that, right?
Oh, America.
And yeah, it's a mental game, but people will use that talking point, go, well, don't depend on the government. Like Charlie Kirk was all about the church giving away food and all that shit, not getting help from the government. Well, dude, fuck your church, and the government is the people. They have the right to all that shit. They need to be enlightened to the fact that they have the right to that.
I just want to live in the jungle and just throw bitches over the cliff.
Right. But
burn them at the stake, and I wish you could just take people's kids and raise them for your own, and not go to jail or kill people and not do it. I wish we were like very primal, like jungle folk.
Well, yeah, but we have to go through all this heartache to progress, though, and to move forward and to go on, and it's happened, and so here we are, and it's up to the collective.
Like you can have your opinion about the government, but don't get your panties in a bunch and have a heart attack over it.
Oh, please don't. Yeah, it cost me a lot of stress. So yeah, it really over the years.
Like that, people that are like passionate about it. Yeah. There's a limit.
That's why I have a limit to if I ever go there. They have to know. I don't care if they disagree with me, but they have to have those requirements of knowing that different shit, right? Of how many this and that, how it works. Otherwise, I'm talking to.
You can have an opinion, but use it in, like I said, time and a place. If you want to talk about a political forum and have a meeting about politics, talk to people that have the same interests as you.
Well, they know the same at
the grocery store in the fucking apple aisle talking about presidents.
Yeah, because the problem is you're dealing with somebody who doesn't have the entire story. So how could you talk to them about the story if they don't know how the basic principles go?
To each their own, but don't get your panties in a bunch, Dorothy. Don't have a heart attack over what you can't control. Just calm down. It's okay. It's good. Just have your,
It's like this. Have you ever had anybody come up to you, it could be an older person, whoever, in your life and start telling you a story or something? They're talking about people you have no idea who the fuck they're talking about, and they don't preface it by telling you that. Earl did this to Jane, or Jim said this to Bob.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, what?
Right, but it used to be common.
Blah, 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 and you know them. I'm like, no, I don't know who you're talking about, but okay. Yeah, he was a Johnson. He was out there. Because I come from a smaller town. They're like, you Dad Hickman's daughter, ain't you? Yeah. Well, you remember Steve and da-da-da-da-da. I heard he... I'm like, dude, I don't fucking know. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but
I was 5.
at least in that scenario, though, they had a basis to go by. Right. But I've had people start telling me a story, and they're talking about this person and that person, and they know damn well I don't know them.
Yeah, you don't know from Adam.
Right, exactly. But I've never been rude about it. I've maybe asked who it was.
They want your opinion on it.
Yeah, right. But
what do you think about John and Jennifer over there over on 2nd Street? And you're like, I don't know who that is, but hey, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't you think that they want you to agree with them? I think they want you to be on their side. I know, them are sociopaths.
Oh, I just tell I think in the future, if I ever get asked that, I'm just gonna say, well, I think they're the most wonderful people I've ever met in my life, and I'll just use that as a standard answer, even if it's Charles Manson.
Oh yeah, Donald, yeah, he's my
homie. He's my Donald O'Donnell. Oh yeah, you mean Big D? We call him the D-ster. Oh yeah, man, the Donster.
Oh and Ethel. Ethel.
Oh, Ethel's my homegirl. Oh fuck, Ethel's my homegirl. Oh, Ethel's my homegirl from way back. Yeah, Ethel's my homegirl from way back. We know Donnie. We call him Big E and the Big D. I mean, we know him from fucking back in the day.
Yeah, he'd do the biggest lines you ever seen known to man.
Oh my God, he could take the biggest bong hits and just choke for days. But he was the man.
Oh yeah,
the Big D.
They'll just be like, what?
The Don Dada.
For sure.
Then I'd break into this routine. I mean, don't you say anything bad about the Don Dada. That's my Don Dada, my asshole.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude.
It really, we don't talk about that. He really broke my heart.
Yeah. Right.
We caught him fucking the dog in the backyard.
Both of them did. I was having a threesome with the both of them.
He was a bad boy.
Yeah, I was having a relationship with both of them behind each other's back, and then they broke my heart, both of them. Or, you could tell them some shit like that, right?
Dude, that shit's comedy as fuck.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
My daughter, she'll be in the stores, and my grandson will be acting up, and she'll be like, threaten to whoop his ass, and like she'll smack him, and she'll be like, what? People look at her, she's like, what? You ain't never seen nobody fucking whoop their kid? I'll whoop your ass right now. What? Fuck.
God.
She don't care. We don't care, because people look at her like, how dare you? And she'll be like, I'll turn around and fucking drop you in the face.
I don't believe in it.
Mind your business.
I've never spanked my kids, I never grounded them either, though.
My kids, they were so scared of me that they didn't act up, because they knew that there might be some dire consequences, so they behaved.
Boy, you sound like you really need to lay the hammer down. I didn't need to, man.
But the fact that people just judge her for yelling at her kid, she's like, excuse me? My kid's black. I can call him whatever I want to call him. She's like, you want me to whoop your kid too? I'll whoop your ass right now, lady. You better keep on walking. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you yell at your kid in the store? How dare you stop and look? Keep on shopping.
Yeah, I mean, right. And in a situation like that, if I'm the one seeing, I take into consideration the situation and what it might be. I mean, of course, if you were off on a tirade like on him,
so nobody understands me.
Yeah, I would understand if it was just right. I don't, it's not my place unless I saw some really physical brutality going on. Then I would intervene. But but of course, right. And so it's It's just a matter of perception a lot of the time. But I was lucky like that.
He rode by on his bike, and he was like, and I usually smoke weed outside. He's like, hey, that African guy down there is beating his woman, and I'm not going to get into it because he'll kill me, but the cops are coming. You might want to put your weed away. I'm like, thanks for the info.
The one thing I did do to them, though, that I would do, and it happened a few times, is that there'd be a bunch of kids in the neighborhood. They were doing mischief, right? They would fuck around with ringing doorbells, and I'd get complained about it, that my kids were involved in on it. The first thing I would fucking do is I would get my kids, and I would say to them, I would ask them about it, and I'd say, you knew better. Why were you doing that? Why were you with somebody that was my first thought wouldn't be, it couldn't be them, even though it never was them.
It would be like,
but my first thought was, what were you doing in that situation even? And I mean, I'd really get on their ass about it. What the fuck were you doing with that situation?
And when your kids are lying or
whatever. Yeah, right. And they weren't, I knew they weren't, but I would just chew their ass, be like, you know what? Why were you in that scenario? You knew better, you know better, and
you live and you learn. Like my kids, the little homies would come over and they'd spend the night, and like
my kids would get accused of it first. I would accuse mine of it first.
I said, they're not in there having an orgy. They respect me. They know that I can barge in anytime. It's because I trust my kids, and I know them kids ain't got nowhere else to go. So I'm like the safe haven. They're not in there fucking naked. Calm down. They're not lying to me. They're saying they're going to the mall. I know they're in Jaquanda's basement.
Right.
My daughter said, I never got the thrill of sneaking out, Mom, because you let us, not that I let them do whatever they wanted, but I was just a very open book because I didn't want them to run away. And, I wanted them, and plus.
Yeah, that's another thing, too. A lot of parents that have kids that have issues like that are long lasting with drugs and alcohol and stuff, or parents that had their heads buried in the sand. And then when they found out their kid was going to die, they got all crying about it. Like, how could this happen? Well, how in the fuck how could this happen? You live in the fucking modern world.
My friend Kathy's like, I had to take my daughter's phone because she was shaking her ass. I said, my daughter pays for her own phone, and they have enough respect not to. I said, I never search through my kids' stuff. I've always respected them.
That's why.
Included them. That way they're honest with me, because I was terrified.
That's why they'll go through their kids' diaries. Dude, I'll tell you, the only thing I told my daughter, I said, honey, the only time you'd ever have to worry about Dad going through your fucking diary is if you've been missing for a day, for, close to, maybe not quite a day, but when she was younger, but, just to give me a clue as to where, what, that's it. And only in that fucking scenario am I going to break into your fucking shit and look. That's
and they even told, like teachers at school, they're like, my mom doesn't come at me like this. You cannot come at me like this. Like, because I was always so scared that when they grew up, they were going to be like me and run away. But I realized that was because my mom's neglect. I was super hyper vigilant.
Yeah,
and plus there was times I was on the Zans off the shits, and the kids like laugh about it. And they're like, yeah, you were crazy back then, but now I'm okay. We can talk about it. But they worried about me. So they kept me in the loop where they were.
Right, again, then you realized it was because of the shit, like, you'd maybe gone through as a kid, right, and everything, and that they weren't going to do that necessarily. Plus, you were square with them as far as not searching through their shit and looking through their shit and wanting to catch them. And some of these parents that go looking through shit, they want to find something. They have this little sneaky little son of a bitch kind of a mentality.
Well, maybe if they were secure in their parenting, they wouldn't have to do that.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't have to, but even if they
their own insecurity.
But they're also wanting to find something. They're wanting to.
Maybe if you were attentive and talked to your kid and created a safe place for your kid, you wouldn't have to do all that.
Well, even if you create a safe place, if you get real with them, these kids I'm talking about all came from really, you won't believe how safe these places where they came from. I mean, very, very desensitized, very sensitized to everything. And so, their parents were the type, though, but any little thing.
Yeah, we were rock and roll hippies.
Drug test their kids. I don't believe, first of all, I don't believe in drug. I think drug testing is unconstitutional.
Well, my daughter got a hickey, and the next day she got on birth control. Yeah. That was the only thing.
Well,
and I'm like, if you guys want to smoke blunts, I'll go get you a sack, and you can smoke in the room.
Yeah, right. But I mean,
you're going to do it anyway.
Exactly. In Scandinavia, they used to. Their birth rate for teenagers was like 10% what ours was, and they fuck like rabbits over there, man, as kids. But their parents aren't making them go fuck in the back seat of a fucking goddamn Subaru or something, right? If they, but it's not an orgy either. I mean, people won't want to jump to that conclusion, but dude, they're real about shit, man. They're real. You know what I'm saying? They're real about how they visualize it and how society functions, and then at the same time how humans function to go along with it. They don't get in denial, and they think because they tried it, their mentality is, well, they should know better. No, they have a lot more consciousness level than you do, so they want to experience things, to like experience the thought process through it, not experience them just to fucking because you're a dumb shit and want to go along with shit. So every generation, but they do that to every generation, man. I mean, people in the late 1800s probably thought, well, once the radio came around, years later, in the early part of the next century, oh, well, that radio, look at that thing's talking to kids through a machine. Oh my God, what's the world coming to? Then it was silent movies. Oh, there's movies on the screen, or there's pictures on the screen of humans like us. Oh fuck, man, these kids are getting all the wrong ideas. And then they had audio with it. Oh no, that's gonna really ruin the world. Then color TV was gonna fuck with everybody's eyes. Then it was, and I remember this because I lived it. Then it was the goddamn remote control TV. Oh, what's little Billy going to do if he doesn't have anything to do on a Thursday night? He's only going to be able to go get Dad another beer at the refrigerator. He's not going to be able to have his duty of getting up and changing the fucking channel. I mean, I've heard this shit. Oh, the VCR. Oh, man. Oh, God, people are going to be able to watch movies at home. Oh, for fuck, call the fucking police. Really. they're going to be watching movies at home now. Well, yeah, okay, they're going to be playing video games at home. Yeah, I mean, we evolve. We come far with technology. Even with our thought process, we need to give ourselves a little bit more credit and a little more love, because that's the way it is. I mean, look, my parents, I was born that year, but my parents in 1975 paid $500 fucking dollars then $500 then, which would be like about $2,500 now, for a goddamn game, the prehistoric version of Pong, where you put it on the TV and this peg just bounced back and forth between each other very slowly. And that's it. That was the whole. So technology improved, and I would tell people when I was younger, when the Atari was out, I was 6, 7. I said, someday it's going to look like you're actually controlling real life people. Oh, that's bullshit. I won't ever get that. Well, slowly, it's gotten to that point. And it is at that point. Where the visuals that you're controlling look like real life. Right? I mean, that's just an inevitable. People thought, oh no, that could never, how in the fuck could it never happen? I mean, that's how technology progresses, man. The one thing that I didn't see coming this quick, though, and I figured we'd have it at some point, but you'd see on Star Trek and shit, those little communicators they had, like, which we call cell phones now. I didn't conceive of what that it'd be necessarily a cell phone. I just thought something like that to communicate back and forth would be in our societies at some point, but I didn't think it'd be any time in my lifetime, probably. And this was back in the early 80s, but it was, and it is, and it's happened. So but technology is also slowed way down by greed. I mean, look at the shit Tesla was inventing, cameras of moving people before the goddamn silent movies even came out, right? But he got most of his big ideas from the Pleiadians. They channeled that to him. They were a big part of our culture to give us an upkick. This 1960s, they contacted rock and roll bands. I mean, they brought tie-dyed colors into our society. They brought the psychedelic rock, contrast with that with a few years later disco. But I mean, they were in contact with bands like, well, the Beatles first of all, Pink Floyd next, ELO next, Steely Dan, Alan Parsons Project, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Sarah McLachlan, Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails. So you can see they covered all fucking angles of different ways to get it, man. The Pleiadians brought us a lot of this consciousness. Right, in all kinds of different varieties. And then they brought us Wicca and witches and goth, and they brought us rainbows and all kinds of cool colored flashy lights too. So think of the Pleiades as more of a metaphor, even though on other dimensions there are human-like planets there with humans, but think of it as a metaphor as to what we could be as a society if everybody was in their own power, confident in who they were, and all their basic needs were met, right? You'd be completely into yourself, but yet completely a fan of everybody else, like everybody else was completely like that, right? So you would have basically, you'd be your own guru, G-U-R-U. My old co-host Bridget Rao of Divine Essentials used to say that, G-U-R-U, your own guru, and you are. And at the same time, this oneness is when everybody is in completeness with themselves, though, and not any kind of a judgment, that they're just in this existent state of flowing, right? And I think we lost Shandy Claire. I feel like that guy on the movie Airport at the end, everything's finally been, or Airplane at the end, everything's been taken care of, the disaster's over, and this guy's still on the CB talking and giving instructions and shit, and everybody's long since left for the party. That's how I feel talking right now, because nobody out there hears me. And I'm just, now I'm just talking to the airwaves. Somebody give me a sign somewhere that life is still out there. Comment somewhere. We're on, I forgot to thank everybody on for listening. Thank you to everybody on Twitch. Thank you to everybody on, X faded out on us. It always does, but Elon always runs a really high-class, third-rate organization. And then also thank you to TikTok, BitBop, HipHop, and it don't stop, and it won't stop. Thank you to Facebook Live, Pleiadian Angelic Rainbow Orbs page, and thank you to where this is originating from on YouTube, on the Pleiadian, no, wrong, there's 5 YouTube channels. The Larry Locken 4 channel, not 4 channel, at Pleiadian Angelic Rainbow Orbs page. You can check out the other 4 as well. And I didn't put my name with each of them for an ego. A fine young author who's really a great soul and probably the best channel I know, Francesca Rose, said, well, man, we were talking about a year ago, and she's like, did you ever think about putting your name with your brand? And I said, nah. And she said, you can do that and also keep your old name on YouTube as your handle name. I said, really? Because most people don't know that and don't do it. She said, yeah. And I said, really? I said, I'm considering, you tell me to do it, I'll go do it. She said, no, you gotta, I said, don't fuck around. I told her, don't fuck around if you're just putting me on. And she said, nah, you gotta go do it. And I said, okay. So, and I don't have 5 channels out of some big ego thing. When I signed up to do radio years ago when I was with N5D, I wanted to do my own show too. And so I signed up for something on Google Hangout. That's how you had to do the shows back then through YouTube. And they gave me 5 channels. I only used 2 of them until about a year ago, but I also took 5 years off because my ex-spouse didn't really want us doing this shit anymore. So I was like, I kind of hesitated with that, but I was like, oh fuck, okay. I took the high road, right, for the good of marriage. So much it did me, or so much for that. But so I quit doing all this shit for 5 years until not this last May, but the May before. Right, so I opened up all these ones because one of the channels was dedicated to Arcturian information, and I had only had, out of the 30 collectives I've channeled over the years, I only had 1 from Arcturus, and they were only a few times, so I never really did anything on there. But then all of a sudden I started getting hit with, now I've got 5 Arcturian collectives I've heard from, different ones, from the 12th all the way to the 16th dimension, And, now there's one from Procyon as well. I think I'm the only one in the mainstream channeling them. They're a human race like us in the 7th dimension. They're an interesting story. I've channeled the Lance from there 5 times, and I think he's wanting to come through again here real soon. So you're like a frequency, everybody out there. Keep that in mind. You're a radio station. You put out a frequency. You attract the demographics that you want to attract, and just go from there and use your heart and use discernment. And I think Shandy Clear it must be really late there in Iowa, the beacon of enlightenment, the beaconhood of enlightenment. I think I ought to probably tell her I'm kidding one of these days when I say that. I think she thinks I'm serious. Well, I'm serious that she's from there and she's enlightened, but it's kind of giving her a little bit of a joke, Enlightenment comes from all over the cosmos to Iowa. No, I'm going to have to break her heart and tell her, no, that would be Arkansas. Okay. All right, people. All right. We'll see you later on Twitch. We'll see you later on, X has already faded out. Hello, TikTok. I didn't get a chance to see anybody's comments or chats because the TikTok feed sitting away from me, and I don't know how to look at chats. So I'm still learning a lot of this technology. When I was doing this shit back in the day, it was just Facebook. And Facebook didn't even have a live yet, so it wasn't even Facebook. You could just post their shit there, or post your shit there. The only other option was X, or Twitter at the time, and we just looked at Twitter back then as some place where middle-aged guys traded one-liner insults or one-liners on things they thought sounded witty, but everything was ran through YouTube still, but it came through Google Hangout there, so a lot of shit changed in those years. A lot of shit. So I'm just learning all these platforms, but we're everywhere. The Larry Locken channel is everywhere except for SunCloud. I know we're not there, but we're on... everywhere. Lemon 8, we are the Lemon 8, Lemon 8 Pleiadian. But it's also at the Larry Locken channel. Lemon 80 and Pleiadian is just a surname. Sky, Blue Sky, we're the Blue Sky Orbs. Blue Sky is something just now that's barely getting broached by starseeds. It's always had a real nice clean energy and does, but it's kind of, dead over there and flat. For the most part yet, but it's picking up steam, so we're everywhere, Instagram, Threads, Dreads, don't need any more street cred, could probably use my meds. I'm on Threads, right? Yeah, purple sky, tie-dyed sky, gray skies are going to clear up, put on a happy face, blue sky. The whole fucking routine. Lemon 8, it's so great. Just ask my friend Nate. He goes on there so he can master his checkmate because he wants to get good at chess. All right, and we out with... We're digressing. On that note, we're out. Goodbye, Facebook Live. Goodbye, TikTok. See, I used to not even know how to shut all this shit off. That's how bad with technology I am. Goodbye there.